Welcome to Marvel Vision, a podcast about Marvel, the MCU, and right now, She-Hulk. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And we are going to be talking about the second episode of She-Hulk. So if you haven't seen it on Disney+, check it out right now. But picking up where we left off, Jennifer Walters is in the courtroom. She's dealing with the fallout of Titania. Still mispronouncing that horribly. Titania. But she immediately gets fired this episode, picks up a new job, ends up meeting Emil Blonsky, a.k.a. the Abomination, and representing him, despite the fact that he tore it up in Harlem with her cousin. And by the end of the episode, we have tied into the movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Said that terribly as well.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. And as a little bit of a side note, we also meet Jen's family this episode. Now, I know we were a little mixed about
half
this.
of Perfect Strangers.
We've got a perfect stranger. We got a perfect stranger here.
Yeah, that's right. Perfect Stranger. Shiny.
We got Cousin Larry. Cousin Larry is here. I'm doing the dance of joy right now.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
you saved it. That I don't know what accent you did there, but that was.
Let me throw out here. There's a recent post by Cousin Larry that was matching the original Perfect Strangers like promo shot.
Right.
Are you thinking we're gonna get a Bronson Pinchot in this season?
Oh, come on, man! Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there.
I contest.
Amazing.
We are.
You think they're going to go to Bepos?
Bepos is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I believe isn't in Age of Ultron. That's the land they raise up and then drops.
No, that was
Quicksilver
Sokovia.
dies
Bepos
in Mepos.
is next door to Sokovia, and some of the fallout hit it. Balky's entire family was killed, but Balky survived.
Come on, man!
Tragic.
Don't say that about
the
Balky.
Mepos Accords still haunt the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's right.
So let's get this out of the way. We were mixed about the last episode. Pete was very positive. I think, Justin, you were in the middle / negative, and I was pretty negative as well, though there were parts that we definitely all agreed on.
Yeah.
Now that we're into the second episode, where's everybody's head at? How are you feeling? Pete, I'm sure you're still like McDonald's, loving it.
I'm having a great time. Thank you.
Further elaboration on our critical podcast?
Well, I thought we were going down the line. Like, just
No,
down-
go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about what you liked about this episode.
I mean,
Otherwise,
first
you're
off,
going to burst at the seams. If I've learned anything over the past 15 years of us doing podcasts, no matter how long it takes, you're going to rattle out absolutely everything that you liked about it. So let's do that at the beginning. Go.
Oh, wow, that's weird. It's weird when I get what I'm trying to do and I don't have to fight you for it.
Does it work better if it's all pent up over the course of the 15 minutes while Justin and I talk about a bunch of nonsense?
That's a
Sorry,
good
just
point.
let me
Thank
know
you.
when you want me to interrupt you, Pete. Like 30 seconds, 45
If
seconds.
we could stretch that, if you could give me the
Yeah.
more
And
time,
to
the
be clear,
better.
this is a pre-planned bit where we break the fourth wall, similar to how She-Hulk does it.
Okay, so first off, it was like they listened to our first step. I mean, we got the watercolors again, hitting us hard with that. We got to find out what's going on with the rocket ship. We're getting answers. We're putting stuff together. I love it. And of course, the creepy guy who is the man behind the lawsuit, where she got fired, hires her back, and it seems like an evil corporation because of the way he casually fires people. I love the phone call that she has with Hulk. I thought this was just a great kind of like, all right, here we go. This is going to be the rhythm of the show.
What do you think the Sicarian cell phone plan is that he was on when he called her?
Well, first off,
there was a dropped call. There was a dropped call.
Hey, if Deadpool can start his own phone company, I would take Banners over Deadpool. So I think
Sorry,
it's
just to translate, Pete, he's talking about Ryan Reynolds having a cell phone company called Mint, I believe. Is that what it's
Mint
called?
Mobile. Yeah, that's right.
Just trying to translate what you mean when you say Deadpool has a cell phone plan.
Well, I don't.
It took me a second as well. But
Okay, well,
100%.
thank you.
got it.
Yeah.
I do think, just to interrupt really quick here, my theory now is that we're going to see Hulk pop up in some way in Secret Invasion. Like, I don't think this has to do with the Grandmaster at all. I think this is Nick Fury in space sending out a call for Hulk and getting some help from him.
Really?
See him pop up there. That theory.
I like
don't
that
know.
theory because I agree with you. I think this is the
That's
last we'll see of Hulk in She-Hulk. And off he goes into another series.
What made you think that? Because on the last one, we were all on the same page of like, we think it's a Scar type thing of the.
I don't know. There was something about
Well,
like
it
the
was.
casualness of Bruce on that ship. It didn't feel like he was being taken by a quote unquote villain like Grandmaster.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
felt
see
more like
Liam Neeson anywhere.
Jeff
He-
Goldblum. Oh,
No,
take it.
he's
Take
taken.
it.
The word
Okay,
taken.
wow,
Sorry,
all right.
Pete's what's it called on one right now, so he's going to be saying nonsense, and I will slowly walk it back into reality.
He seemed to be pretty
I
casual.
agree
He
with
was
you.
along for the ride.
He's making
That's
a
what
phone
I'm saying.
call.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, I'll throw out actually one other theory just based on the show. We could also see him go on that Sakaran courier ship and then show up in one of like the last two episodes in the World War Hulk outfit, and he's like,
Don't
"Cool,
tease me. Don't.
I've been
don't.
through some shit." And
Don't.
that's the joke. Is like he was on this whole other adventure while She-Hulk was doing her She-Hulk stuff, potentially.
That's fun. To my take on the episode, I feel like it's a little bit more fun. I thought there were some better jokes in this episode, and I thought we were
Hey, all right.
the joke of
Come
Bruce being
on!
like I was a completely different guy back then because he was not. He was played
The
by
better Hulk, the better.
Wow.
Bruce
Oh,
Banner.
come on, dude.
Edward Norton.
Come on.
Number one.
played by Edward Norton in that
get outta
movie.
here with that.
Number two, Eric Bana. Number three.
Whoa. Come on, dude.
Wow.
Every time Eric eats a banana.
Look,
He's
Alex,
bananas good.
If Pete's gonna be off the ranch here with his talk, you can't go. Also.
Yeah, you can't join
I
me.
can't be the center. You can't be flipping us
Justin
off.
can't.
We'll save that for our Patreon podcast, Marvel Vision Off the Ranch.
Wow, yeah.
I hope for one of the post credits though that we do get to hear all 7 haikus. You know what I mean?
All 7.
So
have
you
you ever
liked it
heard
a
more
little
than?
better.
Have
That's
you ever
good to
heard more
hear,
than 2
Justin.
haikus back to back? Because it's too many. One haiku. It's
Whoa, hey, come on. Don't.
You want to pick your haikus out of your haiku bag with chopsticks because you don't want to have like 9 of them in your mouth at the same time. But I just want to say, Alex, real quick. I still think this show should take more time. It feels like everything's feeling a little rushed. The scene with the family, I was like, she came in and they all just screamed at her in succession. It felt very intense.
Let's talk about the scene with the family for a second, because I do think this is getting to my issue with the show this early on in these first 2 episodes. And
Oh, so
I'll
you're
frame it up because
still on
Pete's
the
crossing
fence.
his arms right now. I do think, exactly like you're saying, Justin, there's more of the premise here, which I wanted from the first episode. It does feel like these 2 episodes get a little closer to being a pilot for the show, because you do have that setup there of she loses her job. She's now working at a law firm that she feels morally weird about. We get a case set up here. So it does feel like, again, you're getting a little more of that pilot. The family stuff, in essence, I liked the idea of she comes, she meets her family, she's a superhero now, and they're doing exactly what families do. We're like, oh, my friend's neighbor is really into superheroes. You should go on a date with him. Like, all of that stuff felt to me like it was getting towards something, but there was too much happening at the same time. Some of the jokes weren't as precise, and it was really driven home with me where Larry Appleton was in on the bit as well, where he's like, what happens to Hawkeye's arrows? Does he just leave them there? Which is fine and funny, but he's doing the bit with everybody else in the family. And then in the middle of him doing the bit is like, Jen, let's go downstairs. And he's like, but seriously, how are you doing?
Well, that's a
like,
father. What are you having a problem with?
I'm having a problem with it comedically, Pete.
Well, he can't
there's
be just
no consistency. It felt like they skipped a step there in terms of the character. Pete,
Yeah.
calm down. You didn't work on this show.
All right. Well, first off,
very personally
First off,
affected
I
by-
don't know what your family's like. I don't wait to talk when it's my turn in a family situation, let alone in this shit show. But I think that one of the things is I liked how loud the family was. That to me felt more real. And also, like, yeah, I think a dad, could do bits and have fun with the family, but he is going to care about his daughter.
But he's not doing a bit. He's not doing a bit. The show is doing a bit. He is included in that bit, and then
but
suddenly
he's
as a
doing what
character,
she
he
did.
switches modes. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Jen in the first episode. Wait, no. Jen in the first episode was doing the Captain America bit to her cousin. So then the father is kind of in on doing the same thing that she does. They all kind of do that. So I thought it was a cool callback, and I'm sorry that I missed you.
I hear you, Pete, but I think Alex's point is rather than the characters feeling real and motivated to do those things, it feels like the show is like, oh, we're gonna have him do it, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense that he would do it.
We're seeing
the whole family.
This is to me. I don't want to focus on the family thing because I was using that as an example of what isn't quite working to me about the show yet. The jokes feel sloppy, frankly. Like some of them hit, but they're not as sharp as they could be. The editing is very weird to me still in this episode. Like the place we end the episode, it's a very weird ending line.
Well, it's a callback to the first episode where she, it ends on a like a oh shit moment. It's like this, it
just sort of ends. The editing, I don't know. It's not as precise. The jokes are not as precise. I'm glad you like it. This doesn't take anything away from the fact that you like it. That's awesome, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad it's hitting for you. It's not hitting for me.
You know what it reminds me of is like a kids show, like a Disney like not junior, but like the old fashioned Disney Channel show, where it is a little wonky and everything quite hits, but it's paced up so you don't have time to sit and think about stuff too much. And I just think that's weird because there's so much drinking on this show that they're like always getting fucked up. And it is written sort of in the style of a kid's show. Like, for instance, the family scene, I was getting big Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where it's like that family all lays in the same bed all day. And so that's why they talk over each other all the time. And she comes in and is like, yo, this is crazy.
So at the beginning, when they are in the bar, to get back to that, you have I guess, jerk guy who works at her prior firm.
Dennis, yeah.
Yeah, who we don't get to see a lot of.
We love Dennis.
Yeah,
you're shipping Janice, right, Pete?
No. Dennis is a piece of shit, and he proves that in this episode. I don't know why you're defending Dennis.
What? You just said how much you like Dennis, and then you asked me what. I don't understand what you're talking about. The joke that Dennis is given in this episode where they're in the bar and he's like, well, I see a girl over there. I'm going to go talk to it. Right. That, to me, was like the level of precise humor that we need from this show, that it's off-putting. It's disgusting what he says and when he says that, but it made me laugh because it's so horrible, and everything else feels a lot softer most of the time.
Okay.
I think that's fair. While we're talking about the beginning, the idea that Titania is a super influencer, I think I sort of like that idea. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if that means she's sort of for hire. And maybe, I think Pete had the theory that she was paid to attack She-Hulk in the courtroom last episode. That made me think of your theory, Pete, in a good way. I also like the way the title changes from
that was funny. Hire. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Attorney.
You know what I mean? Have fun with the title cards and, go back and change the Marvel flip to fit each show. You know what I mean? Come on.
I did also, while we're talking about things that we enjoyed about the episode, I did like seeing Tim Roth back as Emil Blonsky.
Yeah.
Very fun to loop back to that. Also fun how they looped it into Shang-Chi. I think, that sets it at a very specific place now in terms of the MCU timeline. But I appreciated having that, and I assume it'll also zip through things a little bit. But that was very fun as well. And, I think that is certainly a gimme to Marvel fans. It's like, you recognize this thing, but they figured out a way to make it a little different and make it a little fun.
I also thought it was fun in the Emil Blonsky scene where he's like, I'm just a Russian-born guy who was raised in England. That's why I have this accent, and I'm actor Tim Roth, and I'm here to eventually escape and be in the movie Shang-Chi.
I did think it was funny the way he was like, namaste, and it was like his kind of we're trying to figure him out, but he seems like he's changed. I mean, when we saw him in Shang-Chi, he was on the same page as Wong, so it seems like he is a good guy. So I'm hoping that continues to be true.
Wow, you're really all in on the Abomination. I love how committed you are. You like him now. You think he's going to help.
I really hope so. I mean, the guy wrote haikus. You know what I mean? I mean, that's deep shit.
Do you know how it's it's not that many syllables. You could just do. It's not studied. It's 575, kid.
Yeah.
You could write one right now.
I could if I wanted to, but I just think it's one of those things where because the conversation she has with her brother and cousin, where he's like, it seems like you're calling me about that you're just telling me. And I was great how he kind of saw through that, and they know each other, and we're given these kind of little moments that are kind of bigger stories because we haven't been with them that long. Which is why I like the family stuff, because like families are messy and they don't, even the Chad stuff where it was like, Chad, you missed the important part. Just like Jen missed the important part with her boss when he was like, telling her or asking her something and she was monologuing to herself and didn't hear him.
I will say, and I know you're going to react poorly to this, Pete, but getting back to what Justin said earlier about the speed, I do think versus the first episode, which was almost entirely a 20-minute training montage, very squarely focused on Jen and Bruce. Here in the second episode, we're getting so many elements that it still doesn't feel like a TV episode to me. Like, we get the family, but that's not the focus and doesn't seem to necessarily affect the rest of the episode. We get the new law firm. That doesn't necessarily affect the family. Like, all this stuff doesn't quite tie together yet. They haven't really figured out the elements. The caveat I'll give here, similar to what I mentioned the first episode, is that comedies take time sometimes to like find their rhythm and set up their stuff. This is 9 episodes long, so it's entirely possible a couple of episodes down the road, once they've gotten all this set up out of the way, they'll really hit their groove. I'm still not feeling it quite with this episode, but there are elements in place that potentially could work down the road.
Okay, great.
I could write haikus, Abomination or not. Steve Rogers fucks, right?
Great job.
Wow.
See,
so now do you think now do you trust me?
Yeah, it would have changed.
Where did you find that? What book?
No, Alex, I just wrote that.
Okay,
I haven't even been in a maximum security prison for, I want to say, 15 years, however long since Ed Norton came through.
Hey, some people, it's harder to come up with poetry. All right, so let's talk about Paul, right? I mean, he got the welcome basket, the where to take a dump, which is super important. Seems nice, but do you trust Paul?
Wow. I don't think I have too much of an opinion. Well, let me say on Paul and Jen's paralegal, who feels like she is part of the show and is a character, but I would ask you to find one defining characteristic from that character. That's one of the things that I'm like.
Seems to be a good friend.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't take the job otherwise.
She wears very big necklaces. Is that a character trait?
That's more of a wardrobe choice, but
it was to Mr. T.
Yeah,
I
she's
just feel like
the Mr. T of the show. I agree with you on that. I was very excited as a comic book fan, and I want to keep emphasizing in all of the criticism that I'm giving this show, I'm a fan of She-Hulk. I'm a fan of the comic books. I want this show to work.
I put that in quotes.
What? Seeing the stuff pop out of the Dan Slott run in particular, which is a lot of what we're getting here, and some of these characters pop up, was very fun. But I agree with you. Right now, he's a guy who comes in with gift basket, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't even know why he was
joke
there.
about pooping.
Yeah, and he's also like, oh, I'm also part of this division. I'd love to meet the division.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Well, and that feels like, to your point at last episode, that feels like it could be a sort of that Ally McBeal moment of like, let's meet the new players. Because like my wife considers me a guy who walks in and talks about pooping, and honestly, I'm not much of a character.
Oh,
you also
man,
wear
I'm
giant
sorry.
necklaces, so
That's true.
that as well.
Don't.
I'm getting the sense though, Pete, just
What?
based on the fact that he was Adrian Chase on Arrow, that you're pretty suspicious of him. Is that what's going on here?
Exactly right. Yeah, you can't trust him at all.
Yeah.
But I was just seeing if you guys picked up on that. What
Yeah,
I would
right.
like
First
to.
off, yeah, right. Second off, no way.
How dare you? All right, so I want to know, to tell you the truth, the one disappointment I had with this episode was when she was looking for a job. I was really hoping Foggy Nelson would call and be like, hey, like we could use a few good lawyers.
Foggy died. He was in B-Post at the time.
No, come on. Don't.
He got killed. It was the Bartakamus family and Foggy Nelson.
The Nelsons and the Bartakamuses have a long history of working. They're like Hatfield and McCoys of Meatpost.
Nobody else wanted Daredevil to show up there when she was looking? Nobody?
I think it's a little early in our contractually to have Daredevil pop up because I think this was made
cool,
back
though.
before that was a thing. I could see that. I agree with you. That would have been a cool bit of thing. But we don't know. I don't know if that Foggy is going to be the Foggy that we're moving forward with.
Oh, that's your own personal agenda, and don't put that out there, okay?
I don't.
Some of us think it's beautiful casting, so
I'm not down on the casting. I'm just saying I don't think the world of fandom is like, where's my Foggy? That's a different Foggy.
I will say, like, he's pretty busy, Eldon Henson. He did a guest star spot on one episode of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers last season. So I don't even know if he has the time to appear on She-Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in the original Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I know.
That's where he came from.
The Flying V.
That's where he was raised. That's where he was born.
Yeah. That's why he kept doing the Flying V in the Daredevil series, and one of the reasons why I found it so confusing.
Oh, come on, man.
He likes to say, by the way, I said it wrong. I said he was born there. He hatched.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went back for that.
Yeah, anytime, baby.
Quack. 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 Here, we do this every episode off camera.
Quack.
Okay, so wait.
Quack.
So when it comes to the Abomination, it was interesting that he specifically said 2 times 7 soulmates are on the island there. Do you think that's just like he's trying to get an island of villains to hang out with, or do you think there's something else
Did
going on?
you say soulmates or cellmates? I couldn't quite tell.
I think
my autocorrect kind of effed me on that.
That's crazy to have 7 soulmates. That's He's got a lot of love to get. He's not an abomination. He's a love nation.
Yeah, if he is saying cellmates, I would assume it's probably other villains that he does want to take with him, that maybe he's reformed. And
that's exciting. Reformed Island,
There you go. Sell it to Peacock, man. What else do you want to call out for the episode? What other moments jumped out at you that you would like to mention in particular?
I thought just how I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I loved how sweet the phone call was with Hulk, and I liked how she didn't like the name, but he really liked the name. I just every time they're on the screen together, or sharing the screen with a phone call there with a split screen, I'm having a good time with it.
Should we talk about the She-Hulk name for a second? Were you going to mention that, Justin?
No, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I like how that got brought up. Again, I wish they were hitting this stuff a little bit harder, or sharper. But the general idea that a dude news reporter is like some sort of She-Hulk, and that's how she gets the name, and it's very annoying. That's a good bit. Again, I want them to be like a little sharper and more precise in how they deal with it in a modern feminist context. But as it is, you got the setup there, so the possibility is there down the road.
It was very. I don't know what the cliche is. I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint where that cliche comes from of like man on the street being like, he's some sort of Superman,
Well, it was like, the thing kind of how that kind of organically happened in that press conference.
Right. But I do think they were calling that out and making fun of it.
Wait, what was that a reference to? Did they do that in one of the Fantastic Four movies?
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the first Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I don't remember that. I'm sorry. All I remember
where Captain America was Flash
with his floppy arms.
Oh, you're thinking of Leonardo DiCaprio, Alex. The Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
What? What are we talking about?
Are you talking about Titanic?
No, the meme where he dances from.
That's
the noodle arms.
Yeah, that's
no, Mr. Fantastic. It's actually Rise of the Silver Surfer. He does this noodle arms dance. That's terrible looking. It's awful. Let's save this for the Patreon podcast, the one that we did, the Off the Rails one. We'll do that.
Oh, right, yeah, Off the Rails.
Yeah, let's
sure.
keep it
I'll
on
cut
the rails
this out
like,
and put that on
like
there.
usual.
Yes.
Definitely.
Any other moments from the episode you want to call out, Justin?
The post-credit sequence I liked in this episode. I feel like giving us little moments like this actually does feel like the slowing down that I was asking for earlier in the show. And it feels like it rounds out the world in a nice way, and it on top of being like some good jokes. So definitely more of those.
Yeah, how are you feeling about the Chad of it all?
I don't know. You really love the one-liner guys, huh?
Well, I'm hoping little bits of characters that we're going to see more of. But I don't know. I just kind of maybe had a realization that maybe I was the Chad of my family. You know what I mean?
Wow. You really saw yourself on screen for the first time in this show. That's amazing, Pete.
Oh my God, you're crying. I can't believe you're crying. We should talk about this.
In the off the
episode.
rails episode. Yeah.
Why don't we go to our vision board and talk about what we would like to see on the next episode of She-Hulk? Justin, you want to take this one first?
Sure. Like you were mentioning, this feels like the second half of a pilot. So I'm ready for this show to just go. Like, you've laid a lot of groundwork. I'm speaking directly to the show here. You've laid a lot of groundwork, little buddy.
Justin, what should we do?
Now it's time to fly like the mighty ducks of yore. I want to see like some cases. If we are going to do an Abomination actual court case to get him parole, let's have that be the next episode. Let's get another one. Let's reload the mechanism so we can really see it move, because I think it's ready.
Pete, what about you? What's on your vision board?
Wong, man, I'm excited. In the teaser, the trailers, we saw Wong. I feel like it's got to be next episode to kind of explain what happened a little bit. So I'm very excited for that. And I don't know if it's going to be this next episode, but I'm looking forward to hearing more about Bruce's spaceship adventure.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to call out. I don't think it's going to happen, but if that is some sort of runner with... I was about to say runner with Renner. This is my problem. I keep wanting to call Mark Ruffalo Jeremy Renner. They're two different
What?
people.
Wow.
That would
not
even close.
That would break Mark Ruffalo's heart. Don't talk about something we have to delete.
Oof. Anyway, I hope we see.
However, Jeremy Renner would love that mistake. He probably wants. I bet he wears Mark Ruffalo cosplay around the house just to feel better.
He's sitting around with it on his piles of beef jerky that he used to sell on Amazon that never got sold. He's just chewing on them, waiting for somebody to call him Ruffalo.
When he's flipping houses in the Central California area, he goes by Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, wow. That's nuts. Well, I hope we get to see that in the next episode of the show. If you would like to support this podcast, patreon.com/Comic Book Club. Also, we do a live show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to Crowdcast and YouTube. Come hang out. We would love to talk to you about She-Hulk. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or the app of your choice to subscribe, listen, and follow the show at Marvel Vision Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, stay marvelous.
Bye, Foggy Nelson. I don't think we'll see you, bro. Quack. Quack.
Fuck
quack.
you.
Quack.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
575, baby.
Eric Bana.